There's a process in UNDP that they follow to actually ensure you get the interview. It takes its own time. So he gave me an option. Okay, you can start as an intern meanwhile if you want to try out this one. I said, okay, cool. So I became a 28-year-old intern with UNDP, and I said that actually was my start of my UNDP career.
Welcome back to Engineering and Beyond. With every new episode, we introduce you to engineers who have done things a little hatke in their career. This time, it's no different. Today, we bring you Prateek Kumar. He currently works as a project officer at UNDP, which stands for United Nations of Development Program. He did his engineering at biotechnology. He then worked for a few years at Infosys and then thought of pursuing his master's at Sustainability Studies from University of Auckland. What made him embark on such an interesting journey? Let's find out. So after your bachelor's, after you finished your 4 years in engineering, you thought of you did your first job was in Infosys.
My next goal after my engineering was to pursue my higher studies. That was the next logical step because the professional career scenario in India at biotechnology was not that great. So I was graduating after the economic crisis of 2008. So the job market was not that great. So we were looking at different options. The PhD options didn't make financial sense to me at that time because I come from a middle class Indian background. So going for higher studies outside was not a easy cup of tea. So when campus placement was going, we were hoping for some biotechnology companies to come for campus placement. Unfortunately, the first company that came in was Infosys. So we got placed over there. It happens now also. Most of the people become engineers and then decide what to do in life, right? So we all got placed in Infosys ad hoc. There was 15 people from our biotechnology course who got placed in Infosys.
So you then decided to do your master's in sustainability studies. Can you tell a little more about this whole stream?
As I was finishing my 3 years in Infosys, I felt like basically it's time to get back. I felt I had enough financial backing right now to actually choose a higher course. So I was looking for different options. For me, New Zealand stood out. One thing obviously is the University of Auckland course structure was really good. So the course I did was Master of Engineering Studies. And it was a generic course. I could choose in that course subjects pertaining to sustainability. So I choose a wide varying. It's not a defined course. It was my choice to get a generic course of Masters in Engineering Studies and furthermore choose subjects like energy management, waste management. I did social change and sustainability, energy economics. And since I am coming from a data management background, so I did courses on modeling.
So obviously when you doing something a little hatke like sustainability studies, the second thing people will ask you or even the engineers who are thinking of doing this, they'll think that what is the scope of this study? So can you tell us a little more about that?
If you look at sustainability as a course, if you're looking at even for bachelor studies or graduate studies, postgraduate studies, it is a sector where you have to define your scope. The thing is, it gives you a platform. So development sector is a very wide-ranging sector, right? It moves from education, it moves from policy, it goes to management, and then it goes to implementation on the ground with different environment, education, social skills. So there is it's a varied sector. So what sustainability studies gives you is a framework of how do we identify problems. Similar to an engineering, how do engineers think? So basically, you see a problem statement, they see a solution and see how we can scale the solution.
So now we'll go to your UNDP journey. So just tell us how did you get to know about this opportunity and was there a selection process in place and how did you go about it?
One thing I was sure was when I went to New Zealand itself that I would always come back to India. My city, Bangalore itself, is around 8 million. So the problems are actually totally different. It's a first world problems are there in New Zealand, which is not exactly what I did my development sector career for. So I always knew I was coming back to India. So I started looking for positions in India too. And thankfully, I came to know about the project called Disha, which was about creating employment and entrepreneurship opportunities for women in UNDP. It's a UNDP project funded by IKEA Foundation. So it was a very interesting project. So when I looked into it, so I came back from India for a sabbatical from New Zealand, and then I met one of the coordinators over there to understand because I don't know how UNDP works too. I'm in the same position, like I'm trying to understand what's UNDP. I applied for UNDP position, nothing came back. So I wanted to actually have a face-to-face interaction with someone from UNDP. When I did that, I got an offer for intern. He said, okay, I was 28 years old then. So I was looking for a job, obviously. But when I understood the project and I understood the context of the project, there was jobs were only through the online platform. Sorry, you either apply online the jobs, and then there's a process in UNDP that they follow to actually ensure you get the interview. It takes its own time. So he gave me an option. Okay, you can start as an intern meanwhile if you want to try out. I said, okay, cool. So I became a 28-year-old intern with UNDP, and that actually was my start of my UNDP career. So in that next 3 months, I made sure I was indispensable to the project. I actually give a lot of technical solution, work with the project team a lot, so that they offered me a consultancy position. So directly, like from an intern, I moved towards a consultant in UNDP. And that's how I started off my career.
What kind of career path can an engineer have in a place like UNDP?
United Nations Development Program has a wide mandate, not only in India, but all around the world. In India, their mandate is to support existing government initiatives, support the government to do its initiatives a little bit more efficiently with engaging the private sector a lot. So we have multiple projects across domains. And you have multiple roles which are required. You need management roles, you need technical roles, you need people from communication and design. So you need engineers for sure. So it's dependent solely on the project. For example, if I take my plastic waste management project as an example. So we need engineers specifically over there. We have a facility manager who looks at how a Swachhata Kendra or the material recovery facility is set up. We need people who understand waste management concepts and principles. So again, it's project based. So one thing with UNDP as a career, it is a challenging forte for sure, because as you try to build a career, most of the contracts were actually 1-year contracts. It depends on the project. So you don't get like permanent assignments. So you don't get like long-term assignments. You get like normally 1-year contract, which is extended every year. So that's one thing is a challenge with UNDP. But again, it gives you the platform to work in a level where you can work with government and private sector and bring them together to actually provide solutions.
Since you are a project officer, what exactly does a project officer do?
Fine. So there are different project officers in my project. Each have different, above us there's a program officer, then there's a normal structure which you have, and then you have the vertical head. So as a project officer, I have a specific role of partnership and outreach. So with my project, which is an EPR supported project, so it's a plastic waste management project supported by funders like Coca-Cola, HUL, HDFC. It's a very innovative project and it's doing it in scale right now. So it's working in 30 cities right now. We're setting up material recovery facilities to ensure the waste management system of the municipality is streamlined, is more effective, and we recover more plastic out of it. Because if you recover more plastic, less goes to the landfill. How do we recover more plastic and recycle it? So that is basically our problem statement. Furthermore, we're also looking at supporting waste pickers. So as you know, in India, informal waste pickers, or what we call rack pickers, are the biggest reason why we do so much recycling. They're the ones who pick up most of the plastic from the streets, most of the plastic from the landfills, to recycle, because they find a livelihood in it. They find value in plastic, they sell the plastic and make a livelihood out of it. But they are the most socially excluded. They're most vulnerable. They don't have much social schemes and benefits in most cases. They're migrant in most cases. How do we bring them into the system? How do we formalize them, give them ID cards, give them bank accounts? So this is another component of our project. So with this construct, what we are trying to do is, my role is basically to add partnerships. For example, how do we engage? There's already an initiative by the government for skill training of waste pickers. How do we leverage that? There's a skill training, sector skill council of green jobs. How do I build partnership with them? There is the highways in India which are rolling out roads made of plastic. How do we build a partnership with National Highways Authority to ensure that we do the plastic waste management properly? How do we build partnership with other organizations like academic institutions? Like, for example, we have been in discussion with different academic institutions where they can actually provide volunteership program or internship program, or also be part of the project in a way in which they are actually supporting the implementation a bit. So there are different kinds of partnership to strengthen the existing ecosystem.
So like, what are the like key skills does one need to have like to work in a place like UNDP?
We are not trying to solve a static problem. That's one thing. Well, we are not trying this. It is a dynamic problem. Things are changing. But the solutions which we kind of proposed to the government 6 months ago after COVID-19 doesn't work, right? So right now we are trying to re-envision ourselves itself. What is the solutions which we need to provide to the work with the government to provide? Even government is also trying to do the same thing. The COVID-19 impact is a key example. The problem is dynamic. So things are changing. Let's see, for example, now it's a health issue. It's transitioning to an economic issue. Soon it will transition to other kind of social issues and other issues. So we have to ensure that we are not giving just point solutions. We're looking at it more holistically. So having that mindset, that we are looking to understand the worldview a little bit in a bigger picture, to see the interconnectedness is a key thing that you need to have when you join UNDP.
Thank you so much, Prateek. It was really helpful and it was a very insightful conversation. I'm sure the students, and not just students, anybody who's seeing this video will learn a lot more out of it and probably try to do a few things on their own after this video. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prateek.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. It was a pleasure.